Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a few differentials ahead of the Club World Cup Fantasy deadline. That is Saturday night going into Sunday morning for you UK viewers, users of the app. Other time zones, I'm not quite sure, but it is fast approaching. If you do like today's video, please do subscribe to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. The first draft went live a few days ago, so please do go check that out. There is a new one coming up in the near future. But let's crack on with today's video. So, as many of you who play the game will already know, getting differentials under that 5% range are a big, huge difference in this fantasy game. Anything under 5% when the game week starts grants you an additional 2 points if your player scores 4 points or more. It's encouraging us to look for those spicy differentials instead of going with the crowd and the majority and just the base template picks, which I think is a very, very good thing that the app has done this year. Maybe FPL or Sundering Team or them other ones could have a little look at it going forward. We're going to have 6 players in today's list, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders and 2 attackers. And the first defender on today's list is Alberto Costa of Juventus. Now, it's taken a bit of digging. A lot of people have gone for Cambiasso or Lloyd Kelly with Juventus options. I think Cambiasso has just recently clicked over that 5% range. So that would rule him out. Lloyd Kelly, there's Bremer in the squad now. I don't think he is 100% nailed. Alberto Costa, I've had a look. Towards the back end of last season, he broke into the team, and it seems he's got the manager's loyalty and respect, which in this tournament is needed for those minutes. He is a rotation risk. That will be a consistent theme throughout today's video. And if you see me looking this way, once again, like the other day, I'm looking at statistics outside the European leagues, not quite as up to date. He managed to get 1 goal and 4 assists this season, and most importantly, is in a Juventus team that look like they could keep 2 clean sheets in his opening fixtures. He will play, maybe, and that's as good as we can hope for on that one. However, he is 4 million. It's an extremely cheap price. I feel like if he was picking a FPL team, it would be a 4 million budget, but thankfully on this one, you can transfer him out for another option in your team if he isn't playing, and I think for that much, he's worth the gamble. The second defender on today's list has caused quite a stir since joining Man City, and that is Ryan Aït-Nouri. Now, going into this competition, the go-to pick for Man City would have been Gvardiol. Nailed at the back, normally playing left back, but towards the back end of last season, he was switched to that left centre half role, with O'Reilly slipping in at left back. However, with Aït-Nouri coming through the door, it's added a lot of uncertainty. Once again, is he another player under that magic 5% mark? And with the way that this video is made, I've tried to put it back as late as possible so these 5% potential differentials can't creep over that 5% range, because I feel like there's going to be a few teams scrambling towards a deadline, taking out players that have just gone over, when realistically we're hoping to keep them under as far as possible. But for Aït-Nouri, it's 5.7 million. How he will fit into Pep's system, we're yet to find out still. Will he go back to his old overlapping winger routine with the fullbacks, or will he still stick with that inverted into midfield system? With Aït-Nouri at Wolves, he was very much an overlapping player, wing-back systems, linking up with Cunha. 37 out of 38 starts last season, but how much can we look into that in the new Man City one? I think it's a punt. It's a great punt if you can nail it. Attacking intent, and he'll want to show Guardiola exactly what he's going to bring to this Man City. Fielder number 1 is Serge Gnabry. As an Arsenal fan, it's a name from throwback yesteryear. It just takes me back to his failed loan at West Brom, and obviously his performance in the Champions League against Tottenham when they beat them. Was it 6 or 7-2? Feels a long time ago, that does. But Serge Gnabry. Bayern Munich have got Auckland. The part-time is at best, and it's come out that Bayern Munich's team might not be as strong as we first thought. Now, spoiler for my team tomorrow, I think Elise is still going to stick, and I think Kane is still going to stick. But Gnabry could offer a great alternative into that front line. Now he's 8 million, which is pretty expensive when you consider he's not a starter all the time, and it might require a sub going into match day 2. He's had an injury ravaged season, but he seems to be fit at the right time, and that's what we need. He's got 7 goals and 8 assists this season, which is pretty decent, to be fair. It's not quite the numbers that we'd expect from a Bayern Munich attacker, but with this fixture looming, he is a prime candidate. And if you're going for a differential out of that Bayern Munich attack, it could be 10-0. Genuinely could be 10-0 against them. He's a fantastic option. Him or Kingsley Coman, either one, great option. Midfielder on this list, we're dipping more into the European market here, and I believe it's pronounced Coensao. Going to go for Coensao from Juventus. He plays number 10 predominantly. At least that's what it says on the website. Very much an attacking player, left-footed, loves a shot, very nippy, and with the way that this game is set up with multiple chances created, making points, 2 for playing. If he can pick up 2 points elsewhere, it makes him eligible for those bonus 2 points. Now, he's quite cheap. We've got him down at 5.7 million with 5 goals and 8 assists this season, which isn't bad for him, to be fair. It's not quite massive statistics, but in that differential range, we are looking at what we can get out of it. He's not a Kolo Muani, but he's in that midfield bracket, and I feel like that's where there's more options and more flexibility. The striker options are heavily thought between. So with Juventus's 2 fixtures, game week 1 and game week 2, and many people wildcarding in game week 3, we're targeting those first 2 with this one specifically. Now the first differential on this list is Benfica striker Pavlidis. He's had a fantastic scoring season. Benfica's first 2 fixtures are extremely good. On the fixture ticker, you probably have 1 green and 1 orange. But once again, it's those striking options. You're fighting against your Mbappes, your Messis, your Haalands, your Kanes, and that's just the big 4 hitters. We then dip into the 4.2 budget range, which many of them have got Samu from Porto. So he's kind of in that mid bracket. I'd put him with Guirassy from Dortmund. But Pavlidis himself, Benfica's second fixture, I believe, is against Auckland. And that is prime candidate for incredible scoring, similar to Man City in the first, sorry, not Man City, Bayern Munich in that first fixture. Haaland on the break. If you can target the Benfica players and keep them in your team for the second game week, you're saving yourself a transfer. Personally, I feel like Pavlidis might be my 12th man going into the second week. If I don't use it the first week, that is. Still yet to decide on my own chip strategy. But Pavlidis, this season, managed to rack up 29 goals and 12 assists. I know it's the Portuguese league, so those figures have to be taken with a pinch of salt. But can you look past a player with those levels of credentials, even for the first fixture where it might not be plumb? I feel like over the course of the first 2 game weeks, you're going to get some scoring out of him. For the second game week, I don't think he's going to stick under that 5% range, so you are very much, for differential reasons, only having him for that first week. Can he get to 4 points? I think so, and for that reason, he makes today's list. And the final striker and final player on these differential choices are someone who I do have a bit more knowledge on, and that is Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea. Now, if you've ever had him in FPL, you'll know he's a very hit and miss striker. Normally missing the target, that is. However, in this format, I do feel like he could flourish. Over the course of the season, he's managed to amass 13 goals and 5 assists, which isn't bad for saying he missed quite a chunk of it with injury. I did actually not believe that he was under 5% owned, and I did wonder why. Maybe Chelsea fans, you could tell me why people aren't gravitating towards him as much. Maybe it is those striking options that are putting people off. Now, the reason why he probably is a huge differential is because they have recently signed Liam Delap. Now, if you're a casual player, you might think Delap goes straight into that Chelsea team. Personally, I don't think he does. He might rotate, he might take 1 out of 3 fixtures away from Jackson, but I think Nicholas Jackson will start that first fixture for Chelsea. And in that case, with Cole Palmer pulling the strings behind him, there's its goal scoring potential. Now, all 3 of Chelsea's fixtures are pretty decent in the group stage. There's not one that you look at and go, oh, that's a tricky fixture. So if you wanted to keep him throughout and you're not really using your chips and you're saving them for the knockout rounds, I do think he's a really, really good option. Can he outscore the likes of the previous big hitters that I've mentioned and Pavlidis? I'm not sure. But with Chelsea, can you ever really tell if they're going to go big, flat to deceive, or just struggle in general? And that concludes today's Differential Club World Cup 2025 under 5% players. It's a hell of a mouthful. I can't wait to get back to Sundry and Team and FPL just for that. If you have enjoyed, please do like, comment and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. As I said, there will be a final draft video coming up either before the deadline or shortly after the deadline. Time zones and all that. I believe the first game is on at about 1 o'clock in the morning UK time, and yeah, for you people and viewers who play the fantasy games and your deadlines for the normal games are early morning, it's making me appreciate the 10 and 11 o'clock deadlines in the UK. The socials are down below in the description as well. We've got TikTok, we've got X, we've got Insta. Go check it out. I'm constantly asking opinions, trying to find information out and putting out my thoughts on there as well. Thank you very much for watching. You'll be seeing me in a new video very soon.